Peace be with you. Dear friends, welcome to Living Flame Podcast website and Facebook group. Today we celebrate the feast of Saint Matthew, the tax collector, apostle, and then the evangelist. Gospel according to Matthew chapter 9 verses 9 to 13. As Jesus passed by, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs office. He said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. It would look strange, bizarre, that this man who was a tax collector, when Jesus calls him, leaves everything and follows Jesus. He could have told to Jesus, "Lord, I know who you are. I would like to follow you, but I have to settle a lot of things. I have to meet so many people, and perhaps I have to inform my boss that I am leaving my job and following you." But then he does not do that. He simply gets up and follows Jesus. While he was at table in his house, that means Matthew was so happy, so overwhelmed with this call, he simply invited Jesus in his house. Many tax collectors and sinners came and sat with Jesus and his disciples. That was a wonderful scene to see. We can just imagine how Jesus was so happy, so comfortable, so spontaneous, so easy with all these tax collectors who were considered to be sinners. People did not like them. They were collecting taxes and giving them to the emperor. And it was against practically the mind of the Jewish people. But then here we find Jesus very freely mingling with them. The Pharisee saw this and said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" And probably the disciples were dumbfounded at this affirmation on the part of the Pharisees and scribes and other chief priests. They had no answer to give them. He heard this and said, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do." This is a great saying that spontaneously came from the mouth of Jesus. Let us repeat it. Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. Dear friends, who are totally well and healthy? In today's world, we know that each and every one of us is recommended to go for a yearly checkup to the physician. But when Jesus said those who are well do not need a physician, as we grow old, as we are living in this modern world, we require a physician all the time so that we can have a regular checkup to find out whether we are sick or we need some medications or there are some troubles going on within us. And Jesus says, "Go and learn the meaning of the words. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." This applies to all of us. That Jesus came to call the sinners and not the righteous. And who are the righteous here? Jesus mentions most probably the Pharisees, who in their pride always accepted themselves to be righteous. They did not have any fault or mistake. They were following the law. They were following the commandments and certain other practices, fasting, almsgiving in public, making a noise about their charity, and then praying with long robes. But then Jesus gives a very clear answer, and that refers to all of us. that I did not come to call the righteous but sinners. If we accept that we are sinners, Jesus has called us to be his disciples. So the call of Matthew the tax collector, who is also called Levi, is a tremendous invitation to all of us that in spite of our sinfulness, Jesus calls us every day. And when Jesus calls us every day, we must be capable of leaving what we have been doing and follow him. What does that mean? Of course, we cannot leave our job, leave our work, leave our profession. But what this gospel passage on the feast of St. Matthew informs us is, whenever we are inspired to follow Christ in our mind and in our heart, we must give attention to that call. That means Jesus is calling us every day to do our work faithfully, to follow him, to follow his teaching, to follow whatever he has asked us to do. Learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart. The Son of Man came to call back the sinners and not the righteous. So all these kind of sayings of Jesus are an invitation to follow Jesus every day. So from time to time, we have to leave all our cares and concerns and focus our attention on Jesus, who is our master, teacher, and our Savior. God bless you.